What in your life are you convinced is a unique human experience? When my best friend Izzy showed up at my apartment with a 3-year-old and medical papers, I knew my life was about to change. She had always been the dramatic type, the kind who turned a paper cut into a medical emergency. But this time her voice cracked when she spoke. It's cancer. Aggressive. The doctors say 6 months at most. I stared at the papers showing test results I couldn't understand. Her daughter Ginnery sat on my couch eating goldfish crackers and watching cartoons. I need you to adopt her, Izzy said. It wasn't a question. Her dad's gone and my parents are dead. You're all she has. I wanted to say no. I was 28 and single with a demanding job at a marketing firm. But Izzy had been my college roommate and the closest thing I had to a sister. So I said yes. The adoption happened fast. Izzy's health deteriorated quicker than expected. She made me promise to never tell Ginnery the truth about how sick she was. Let her think I loved her enough to make sure she'd be okay, she said from her hospice bed. She'd already set up a $2 million life insurance policy with Ginnery as the beneficiary, to be held in trust until she turned 21. For her future, Izzy whispered. 3 weeks later, she was gone. Closed casket. The cancer had ravaged her body too much for viewing. Raising Ginnery was harder than I imagined. She had nightmares constantly. She'd wake up screaming for her mommy, and I'd hold her until she fell back asleep. I gave up promotions to be home for school pickups. I stopped dating because Ginnery needed stability. When she was 11, she asked why her real mom left her. I told her Izzy loved her so much she made sure she'd always be taken care of. Ginnery didn't buy it. If she loved me, she would have stayed, she said. The teenage years were brutal. Ginnery attempted suicide when she was 15 after a particularly bad identity crisis. I spent my entire savings on therapy and treatment. I sold my car to pay for a specialized program. My boss threatened to fire me for missing so much work, but I didn't care. Ginnery needed me. Slowly, painfully, we worked through her trauma together. When she was 17, she called me mom for the first time. Not by accident, on purpose. Thanks, mom, she said after I picked her up from school. I cried the whole drive home. By the time Ginnery turned 20, we'd built a real life together. She was pre-med at Columbia with a full scholarship. She'd been secretly saving money from her part-time job to buy me a car since she knew I'd sold mine for her treatment. You gave up everything for me, she said. I want to give something back. She had plans for the insurance money too. She wanted to start a foundation for kids who lost parents to cancer. Maybe something good can come from the bad, she said. That's when weird things started happening. Fresh flowers appeared on Izzy's grave that I didn't leave. Ginnery got an anonymous birthday card that said, "Almost time, sweetheart." I saw a woman at Ginnery's graduation who looked exactly like Izzy, but she disappeared before I could get close. A private investigator started calling, asking about Izzy's death and the insurance policy. He said he was hired to locate beneficiaries. My gut told me something was wrong. The week before Ginnery's 21st birthday, I was making her favorite lasagna when the doorbell rang. I opened it and nearly fainted. Izzy stood there, very much alive, with a man in an expensive suit. "Hi, bestie," she said with that same dramatic flair. "I'm here for what's mine." My brain couldn't process what I was seeing. Izzy explained it all like she was telling me about her day. She'd paid off a hospice worker to fake the death certificate. She'd been living in Costa Rica under a fake name. She'd been watching us through Ginnery's Instagram for years, waiting for this moment. The man was her lawyer. He handed me papers claiming the adoption was done under false pretenses. "You can't do this," I said. My hands shook. Ginnery walked into the room and froze. She looked at Izzy like she was looking at a stranger. "Who's this?" she asked me. Izzy's face fell. "I'm your mother, sweetheart. I gave birth to you." Ginnery shook her head. "She's my mother." She pointed at me. "She's the one who stayed." Izzy lost it then. She screamed about sacrifices and how she needed the money because her rich husband had died leaving massive debts. She threatened to have me arrested for insurance fraud if I didn't cooperate. Ginnery stayed calm, too calm. She walked to her room and came back with a manila folder. "Actually," Ginnery said, "there's something interesting about biological parents who abandon their children and commit fraud." Izzy's face went white. Ginnery smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. "I've known you were alive for 3 years, and I've been preparing." Full story on channel linked below.